All right, Roasters, episode 10, Up and Atom with Dan.
And Phil?
We are live to record. I don't know why I said that. Live to
Yeah,
record.
we're not live. We're currently recording live, but we're not. I guess all recordings are live, Dan.
Yeah,
Like
we are a live. So
we're a live recording.
yeah, we are two living people recording this. So just in case you were
Hey,
wondering.
we want you guys to know that you've arrived at episode 10, and we want you to love us more and more each week. Okay, that's just us being vulnerable and alive at this moment.
Yeah, and we want more bodies. We want more souls to be listening. We've got some international listeners now. We got a couple in Canada, and the other one, randomly enough, is in the Netherlands.
Oh, right on.
So, and then we added a couple more states. I think North Carolina. I'm going to show my age. I think of North Carolina. I think of that Petey Pablo song, North Carolina. You don't know that song?
I don't think I've heard that song.
Wave your arm like a helicopter. You don't know that?
I've heard that part. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my jam when I was like 15 years ago working out. North Carolina, put your arms up, wave them around just like a helicopter. Like that song.
Wow, Dan, you're so old.
That's so gangsta, you know.
Gangsta.
Plus, you know my high school yearbook quote. Do you know my quote?
Oh man, I think it was. I remember. Okay, I remember you. No, I don't remember. I was gonna try to like say something elaborate, and I'm like, I remember you telling me, but I forgot. Dan, it wasn't.
If it ain't rough, it ain't D by DMX.
Oh man,
that is forever stitched into the yearbook of the class of 2003.
It ain't D. How does he say it? You gotta say it in the esque of DMX.
If it ain't rough, it ain't D. Rough.
Man, throwback. I've actually been in a little bit of a throwback mood lately. These last couple days, it's been interesting. Sometimes I don't know. Do you just randomly like reflect on a period of time that's gone by just every so often?
You know, I was talking to my sister about nostalgia and reflecting. I don't do it too often. I don't like doing it. Maybe for like a minute, but like she went back to an area she hasn't been to in a long time recently, and she was just like, "Yeah, I like coming here." And I'm like, I hate going back to places that remind me of like. I feel like I'm reading a book backwards, like going back 3 chapters and revisiting it. It just doesn't interest me.
Well, man, don't you wonder how like things change?
No, I wonder how people change, but not how like physical places change.
Like, okay, so for me, I lived in one house for maybe like 12 or 13 years. And so it's always a pretty, I mean, it was a decade before I saw that house again. And wow, I can't believe I said a decade. I should have just said 10 years. Anyway, like, I don't know. There's something about it, like, my hometown or my house that I kind of really grew up and identified with, and just I wanted to see it. Actually, I was upset when I saw the house because the house wasn't like taken care of well, but it's just like it's a reminder of like time just passing by. Like you just can't press pause on being alive.
Yeah, that's sad. That's why I don't want to go back and revisit it.
You know what? Since we're talking about sad stuff, let's just, revisit some of that old emo music. I'm so sad and I'm going to cry tears and drown in them because I'll cry so much that it'll cause me to drown in a tub.
Like that emo punk? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you remember how like it was everywhere, like maybe like 99 to 2006. It was just like all the boys wore mascara and just talked about how sad they were and like they were just gonna die by like random suicide things.
Well, now they talk about killing other people, so let's go back to that. I'd say.
Well, like My Chemical Romance and all their like different types of songs where it's like angsty teenage music, except they use like symbolism for like just weird bodily fluid type stuff. Like, I want to bleed all over you and my blood will tell the story. Like...
I'd prefer that than the current. I'm going to look normal and kill everybody because I'm angry and nobody knows it. So
what song is that?
That's Life, man.
No, we're talking about music, Dan.
I don't know those songs, but I don't know like the current rock. I don't feel like there's that many new bands that are current.
Oh, Dan, that means we're getting old. It's like those people that don't know what music's trending.
I know what music's trendy, but it definitely feels like rock is dead.
I think rock is a lot more pop, and I think it's more processed. But like I think music is cyclical. So in time we're gonna have like a new age grunge. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be all over. It's gonna be the cycle, and then it's gonna be a bunch of like clean indie hipster stuff in another like 6 or 7 years from now. But it'll be slightly different.
I can't wait because I love grunge. But even my favorite bands who are still making music, their more recent stuff's more poppy sounding. So
Pop's just kind of where mainstream's at right
I
now.
mean, let's keep talking about pop. If you want something that's a mix of heavy and pop, you ever heard of poppy?
Poppy,
Yeah,
like spell it
it's like Poppy.
like a flower.
No, it's like this little girl. She looks super innocent, like 5'1", 102 pounds at most. Uh,
She's kind of fat.
yeah, she's like severely obese. So, but her half her songs are like really like pretty and poppy, and then all of a sudden it goes super heavy, kind of like demonic sounding. So,
I have to listen to that. It's kind of weird.
so it
It's
sounds
like
like Britney Spears mixed with Slipknot. So
interesting.
it's interesting. Some people like it, some people don't. For me, some of the songs I like it, some of them it's like it's too forced. Like they're trying to follow the gimmick of what they do.
So it's like the music's super disjunct then, I guess,
Yeah,
like where it's like doesn't make sense, but then it's kind of works, but like it's a stretch, and you can be like, guys, that's kind of a stretch.
yeah. So
Okay.
speaking of darkness, I watched the Joker movie.
Oh, Dan, I failed. I didn't watch, but I plan on watching it, and I don't mind mild spoilers, but not like, oh well, big spoiler, guys. He ends up being a bad guy.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that there aren't that many spoilers. I mean, I can really explain my feelings on this movie without going into gruesome details.
Okay. So do you think Joaquin Phoenix deserves to be nominated for an Oscar?
So this movie left me when I left the movie theater. It was unique. I never left the movie theater feeling the way I did after watching this movie.
Okay, now you got to digress.
So this movie's incredibly dark. It's actually darker than I expected.
Is it darker than The Dark Knight?
Yes. The
Well, they
Dark
just
Knight had a lot
Dark
of.
Knight's not that dark. It's just Dark Knight in the
I
name.
mean,
Yeah.
the Dark and the Light had a lot of action in it.
Yeah.
This is as real as of a movie can get.
What do
It
you mean by that?
it felt like you're in his life.
Like a biography in real time?
Yeah,
Okay.
like you're following him. You see him do his mundane things in life,
Yeah.
and it was as real as like a mainstream movie about a mainstream character can get.
Okay.
It felt kind of like an indie movie where they're like you see them like follow them and show all the details. Like this is kind of boring. But with
Huh.
this movie, they kind of did that, but not to that degree. And you
Right.
kind of like see him slowly transform.
So you see like the mental health instability like start to shape and happen.
I don't know about that. I would
Well,
say there's
do
this,
you empathize for him like turning bad?
yeah, it's hard not to in the movie.
Huh.
There's a series of events where
Right.
he's pretty much an innocent bystander,
Right.
and he does the right thing, and then people still take advantage of him.
Hmm.
So you can kind of figure out why he's upset. To me, I didn't realize who the second biggest actor in the movie is. And that's, I'm not going to say what he does or anything, but it's Robert De Niro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So from what I heard, actually, so Robert De Niro played a character in another movie that kind of there
Yeah,
was some kind
you're
of
talking about Taxi Driver. So
okay,
that's the movie from the 70s. There's a lot of similarities between the two movies. I mean, that one's from the 70s. He's this
right.
angry man, um, full of rage. There's a very similar vibe.
Okay.
There's some similar verbiage that's used from like the bad guy. There's really no, well, there are bad guys in this movie, but there's similar verbs used by Robert De Niro's character in Taxi Driver in this movie. So I was surprised when I saw Robert De Niro, but once the movie took place, it kind of made sense why they chose him.
So he plays a pretty unique role in the movie.
He does. He plays something I've never seen him play before. So it was
Okay.
interesting. I've never felt so many awkward moments in a movie before.
Like awkward, like I don't want to be here, or awkward, like wow, I can't believe they went this far.
Both.
Okay, wow, okay.
It's very tense. It's very real. It's not like they went out of like it was like this could have happened to somebody.
So it's so real that it's eerie,
Yeah, I mean Gotham's supposed to be New York,
right?
and obviously it's not, but it's set in a realistic place. All
Okay,
the things that happen in this movie are possible for the
okay,
most part. There's some stretches at the end that I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen, but um, not that much considering who we're talking about, a fictional character from a comic book series. So,
interesting.
hey, Siri, no one asked for you to chime in and listen to me. So,
Okay, so now that you've seen this movie, who do you think played the Joker better, or do you think you can compare like Joaquin's Joker versus Heath Ledger's Joker?
it's so different because this Joker, the like 90% of the movie is on him.
What do you mean?
Like the movie,
Oh, okay, yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
screen
see what
time,
you mean.
it's 90% at least on Joaquin Phoenix. And Heath Ledger, Batman does his own thing, and then you see Joker pop up and he does things. In this movie, he's just living life. So it's very different. It's hard to compare the two because Heath Ledger, that was more of an action movie.
Right.
So nothing, and there'd be random occasions of action in this movie. So
Hmm.
um, I would say it's dark. I would say I don't expect most women to like this movie
Really?
because it's very intense. It's a very
Okay.
intense movie.
You know, like the most intense time I've had in a movie theater was actually Hostel. When I went to go see Hostel, like the first 10 minutes, I actually was queasy and I was like lightheaded. I'm like, oh my gosh. But then when that movie came out, I think I was 16 or 17. Um, and like I've never seen so much like gore before. Like it was so like gory that like I felt queasy. But
There's not that
like
much gore in this
well,
movie.
no. What I'm saying for me, um, I mean, for me, I've had pretty traditional movie experience. I go, I enjoy the film, drink my Coke, and then want to talk about the movie after. But Hostel was one of the movies where I saw it, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this movie. They just need to like move on and stop being so graphic. But then I got through the movie, and I'm like, ugh, but I didn't want to talk about it anymore. You know, like I just left. I'm like, yep, done with that movie, and not going to see it again.
So in this movie, there are some comedic moments, but
Okay.
you're not supposed to laugh.
What do you mean?
So like there's some moments I laughed and nobody else laughed.
Like you laugh, but like the people that laugh are kind of twisted, or
I would say
like
yes, and then there are other moments people laughed that I didn't laugh. But they weren't really intentional. There's only a handful of intentional funny moments.
I'm thinking I'm gonna sneak in a Chick-fil-A sandwich, not Chick-fil-A, a Popeyes chicken sandwich, and watch the movie at the same time during my break. That's what I'm probably gonna do.
You should do it. It's a movie that I can't imagine like a big group of people watching together.
Okay.
It's
Well,
it,
okay. Do you think it's one of those things where you have to watch it in movie theaters to get the experience, or do you think you can get the same experience at home?
I think you get the same experience at home, but you shouldn't watch it during the day because
Really?
it's gonna take you out of the element. Like having bright lights splashing against your TV screen.
Okay.
You have
Okay.
to be in a dark
It
area
has
to
to be
watch.
a little somber, melancholy kind of.
Because you do feel bad for him. The movie does an excellent job of portraying him as a victim.
Do you believe he was a victim?
See, I'm not
I
sure.
asked, I asked a hard question, didn't I, Dan?
I'm not sure. More yes than no.
Okay.
And they take some liberties with the timeline and, comparing it with other Batman things. So I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah. The timeline's way off. Like if you actually followed the original timeline, this Joker would be like old man Batman.
So there is a bit of insight where I can understand what he's trying to do because he tries to be a comedian
Uh huh.
and he goes to an open mic trying to do stand up comedy. And I've done that before. I've done
So you
open
can kind of.
mics
So you were in his shoes, kind of. You're watching. Like, yeah, I've been there. I've been in that moment.
somewhat. I mean, it wasn't a accurate depiction of an open mic,
Okay.
but yeah, it's there's a lot of cringeworthy moments in this movie. And
Okay.
it's real because when you're doing an open mic, you bomb. I mean, you're not good. And you have to be able to recover knowing you're standing in front of a stage or spending a lot of time and energy writing down those jokes and delivering it, the cadence, all those little things, and all that energy doesn't land. And he's just standing there and it's bad. It's very awkward. It's hard to watch. It's harder for watch to
Huh.
watch for me because I've been in that position. Now, his situation in the movie, it's very different. I don't want to go into details, but
Right. Right.
I didn't do what he did in the movie. So, and if someone did do something like that, and I have seen other comedians do very outlandish things on stage, and they're playing a character on stage.
Right. Right. It's a bit.
It's a bit, but it's a very realistic bit where people say weird things. They do. I've seen someone fall on the stage and say, "I'm a caterpillar," and just start rubbing himself on the stage. And it's a big person. You don't expect it. He doesn't look like the type of person that does something silly like that. And then he
Right.
stands
It
right
takes
back
you off
up,
guard.
and then you're like, "What was that?" Like it wasn't funny. It just was like, "This is so awkward." So it's worth the watch. It is
Okay.
definitely something you will remember.
Okay. Do you think that somebody who is mentally not stable that watches this movie, what do you think is a takeaway for them? Like, do you think they'll be in a worse place, or do you think it would cause them to maybe be a little devious, or you know what I'm trying to get at?
I think if you are prone to thinking the way the Joker does, then you're gonna find solace in this movie.
Kind
You're
of like Misery Loves Company.
yes, but if you're the type of person that's thinking of doing violent things, this movie is not gonna change your opinion on it. Like I've
Well,
read
I'm
articles
saying,
where people are like, "Oh, this is advocating violence." It's not. It's as real. This movie is a great example of someone who does do those kind of things
hmm,
because these the events that took place are more outrageous than most people, I would say. The
right,
events that
right. So
made him the
mass
Joker
level.
are more outlandish than most people as well. But if you're going down that road, this movie's not going to change or alter anything.
Okay, so it's not gonna pour gasoline on anything.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think it will. I think if you've had any kind of hardship in your life, I think you can relate to him.
Is his hardship so bad that you kind of feel better about yours?
Ah,
You
I
know, like some people will be like, "Oh man, my life's so tough," and they like meet or hear about some story that's like worse than theirs, and they're like, "Oh wow, you know, I thought I had it bad, but this probably guy has it worse, and I kind of actually feel a little better
I
that my situation is
suppose
not the worst."
I just don't. I don't do that kind of thinking. So,
Okay,
but if you are the type of person who does that, probably.
interesting.
But it's definitely worth the watch. Uh, I would recommend a movie theater because I would say when I laughed at the moments I wasn't supposed to laugh out, it made me feel uncomfortable. Like I was like, oh, I wasn't supposed to laugh at that. No one else is laughing.
I probably would have laughed because you laughed and no one else was laughing.
Um, it
Well,
made me kind
speaking.
of self conscious. So it was cool to be introspective during a movie because this is what this movie does. It makes you think a lot.
Okay.
And it's by
Well,
Todd Phillips, who made the Hangover movies.
right.
So he went into a new realm, and I think he knocked it out of the park.
Hmm.
And there are actually comedians in this movie. They play small roles in this movie. There's a
Interesting.
couple, like, I recognize at least two. One's pretty big comedian, Mark Maron. He only has like two lines in this movie.
Huh.
So there's comedians playing serious roles.
So
And
it's like, yeah, yeah.
so it's interesting for people who don't know what it's like because dabbling in the comedy world a little bit that I did, comedians are kind of messed up in the head.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
can see
don't go
that.
on stage, you don't talk to people, look for attention if you are 100% good. There's something missing. You're looking for attention. So the Joker in this movie, he's looking for attention, and then bad thing after bad thing happens to him. And you do feel bad for him. And then he kind of reacts in a adverse way that most people wouldn't react to.
Hmm. Dan, I gotta stop you, man. This has been a heavy 20, like 2 minutes. Uh, no roasting has been done, and this is just really heavy. We need to make fun of something. We need to
So
just
I'm going to make fun of the
lighten up the
people
mood.
who say they didn't enjoy this movie. Shut up. You don't like something different. You like to go to the movie theater and leave with a smile.
What would Karen say? What would Karen say to the manager?
I don't understand that reference.
Oh my gosh, this Karen's like, okay, so Karen is that person, that lady whose order is apparently never right, and she goes and complains to the manager so
Okay.
that
So
she gets like something free or something
so
like.
they would say, Joker has a smile on his face. He paints a smile on his face. I didn't smile in this movie.
I want my money back.
I want my money back. This movie was too dark. I expected a movie about a villain who kills people to be happier.
I'm sorry, Karen. This is not a Michael Bay movie.
I
We
mean,
wanted explosions, the knives explode.
like the whole premise of the Joker, like I would say the pillar of him as a villain is he wants Batman to kill him because he wants to push Batman past that line of no return of where he starts killing people.
So he wants Batman to be kind of like him, where he was like, I was a good person, I was doing the right things, but life screwed me, and I'm going to make sure you get screwed so hard you start seeing things my way.
That's like he wants to become a martyr for Batman to become him. That's the premise of the Joker and the Batman forever.
So he's passing the mantle. He wants to create his, like,
Yeah,
create his,
and
yeah.
that's nothing new. And if you don't know that, that's on you. There were some liberties I had to explain to the person I went to the movies with. I was like, that's who that is. Like they didn't do a good job explaining certain things. You kind of had
Okay.
to know certain things to get understand the the true grasp of certain moments in the movie.
Okay, cool.
But it's a good
So,
movie. I recommend watching it. I would definitely not recommend bringing kids to this movie.
so definitely bring your kids, bring your girlfriends and wives, bring a churro.
I would bring man, I don't know what else to bring. I would bring a
A life
falafel.
preserver.
A
A life
falafel.
preserver. I would bring a life preserver because you don't want to drown in all that sadness.
I bring a falafel too because you're gonna need something to munch on real quick.
No, falafels have this like weird smell to them. Like not like weird, but like not a normal smell where people are like, "What the heck's that Kai bringing in there?" He's like, "Smells ethnic, and we don't like that. It's not a movie smell."
Man, I've seen
You can get
people.
away with a corn dog, hot dog, pizza, calzones. things like that. You just freaking like bring some like weird ethnic food into theaters, and people are gonna turn around, and you're gonna be like that one guy. It's like that person at lunch when you're in school, where like everyone's eating like normal looking like American type food, and then all of a sudden someone brings this like box lunch, and it's just like you open it up, and it's like a wall of like smell that you've never smelled before. It hits you, and you're like thinking that can't taste good,
Dude.
and
Yeah, I get you. But a corn dog to the movie theater?
oh, dude, corn dogs are
I
delicious.
have
You shut your
never.
mouth if you're about to go on a negative
No, no,
tirade.
no. I'm not. I like corn dogs, but I've never seen
Okay.
anyone eat a corn dog at a movie theater.
Well, you've been missing out, man.
Dude, you cannot eat a corn dog dry. So you don't know what you're dipping in the dark.
Okay, Dan, this is the 22nd century, 21st century. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Are we in the 22nd century?
I'm not good with that one. Let's go with the 21st.
21st,
Yeah.
21st century, 22nd century. Dude, most movie theaters, you can just like eat all these different types of food and drink beer and drink all these different things. And so I sometimes get corn dogs, and you get like ranch or mustard or mayo or whatever you want to dip it in, barbecue sauce, so it's not awkward anymore. I remember the old days where AMC was like the first movie theater where you can like bring stuff into the movie theaters, and they were like, "Yeah, we're cool as long as it's not glass." And then I remember like sneaking in like pizza, or not sneaking and walking in with pizza, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I just totally bought food and I'm eating it inside the movie theater." And then like it's just dark, and then you can't see your food,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
don't
like,
like that. I don't like not being able to see my food. I don't care about being in a recliner chair. I don't care about none of that noise.
"Oh, I care about a recliner chair, and it massages you and warms. It's
Ah,
nice."
I don't give a single. Oh, I want to curse right now, but I won't
Oh,
about
hi,
any of that.
hi, my name is Dan, and I don't like to relax.
I'm there to watch a movie. The chair's comfy enough.
It's like bringing your home to the movies, except you get like the big screen sound and the dim lights, and other people are there with you. It's
Dude,
like reversed.
I like the creaky chair. I like hitting my leg on the cup holder. I like
And
those
it's like there's like
things.
you like not sure if you sit down. There's like a needle that'll poke you.
I like those things. Plus, I trust those chairs more than a recliner chair because I don't want to touch like surface area of my body. That's a lot to touch with the person who just sat there, like the back of their legs. It's kind of gross. Their heads. I am not putting my head on a movie theater chair. No way. I don't want lice.
Hmm.
That ain't happening. I'm cool for a
Um,
couple hours being in a chair that leans back. I can cross my leg. I'm
I
cool.
always see. I always rest my head on the movie stuff. Like even in the
Ah,
normal chairs, you can rest your head back.
not a chance in hell I ever do that.
I'm gonna watch you next time, and you're not gonna remember this conversation. I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna be like, look, Dan's head's touching, and he doesn't
My
even know it.
my shoulders and back are so broad that like I'm predisposed to have like an inch of gap between my head and the pad because I'm so top heavy.
That just sounds wrong.
It's just because I'm so muscular on my upper portion that
I don't even have a neck. I'm so muscular.
I have a long neck too, so I'm very disproportional. So I don't think I have to put effort to put my head on the pad.
You don't slouch in your seat. You sit all the way back.
Dude,
You don't slouch at
I
all.
don't slouch ever. Like I look like a weirdo at work. 'Cause I lean back in my chair at work, and I typically cross my leg, so my knees like hitting the desk, and then I have my monitor, my keyboard, everything is like really right up to the edge of the desk, and I type with my arms straight out.
All right. So if there's any listeners that end up working with Dan and they listen to this podcast, make sure you snag a picture when Dan is not looking. I need to see this in action. I do not believe it.
I sit like that, and from what I've been told, it's very ergonomic. That's the right term.
Ergonomic.
It's better than most because I have very good posture. So it's
I mean,
hard
that's
for
because you got so much neck. How can you not have good posture?
my shoulders are so defined that it like puts the rest of my body in line perfectly.
Huh.
So I'm just my body's a wonderland. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, John Mayer is all over it.
But yeah, to wrap up the Joker,
Yeah,
go
please
watch
do.
it. If you don't like it, and you know what you know it's going to be dark up front, you're a bad person.
You know,
So
and if you can't handle it, then just wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or on Netflix or whatever digital
yeah,
platform you want to watch, and just watch it with
VHS.
the light on.
Yeah,
Watch it with the light on. You know,
yeah, it was.
totally ruin the mood.
Yeah, you could put a light on as you pop in the VHS and enjoy.
I want to eat spaghetti while I watch that movie, or you know, a Popeye's chicken sandwich. It's what I want. It's what I want.
Do you eat spaghetti at the movie theater?
No, God, no, no. It's a messy food.
You're gonna look like
It's like you eat the most messiest food in the movie theater. You come out and there's just like junk all over your shirt.
it looks like you killed somebody because you got marinara sauce all over yourself.
It's like, did you eat food or did you take a bath in your food?
Yeah, dude, I'm not the movie eater type. I go to the movie just to watch a movie. I eat before or after. I don't do all the.
I like to munch during the movies. That's just something. I've always been that sneak in stuff to the movie theater type person. But as of like the last 10 to 15 years, I actually like to get a soda at the movie theater versus bringing a soda, like sneaking one in.
You don't want to make that noise of popping a can. All awkward.
Well, no, because I mean, like I need to have ice with my drinks.
Oh my god, what a segue! Because that's exactly what we're gonna talk about next. I'm literally
I,
reading it on. I actually made notes. So, fellas and ladies, I mean, I'm sacrificing myself for this show. I mean, last week I watched Maitland Ward's porn work. I went to watch The Joker, and I actually put notes for this episode. You guys should be proud. We're 10 episodes in, and I'm making strides. I'm making efforts to make this product as best as humanly possible.
well, Dan's a researcher.
I put my thinking cap on as I lean back with my arms straight out of my chair with my left foot crossed over because I usually cross my left foot more than my right foot.
Because it's ergonomic, right?
That's just a preference because I'm a left-footed person even though I'm right-handed. I'm just an anomaly. So
You're just messed up, Dan. All right. So what does ice have to do with things?
so I was reading. Speaking of work and things like that, I was reading an article about 40 ways that when your Americans are traveling abroad that they look like Americans. And I scanned through it. I've been to lots of places in the world because I'm a spectacular individual. But so I went through the list, and half of the list I thought was bad. It was smug. A lot of them were like, no duh. Like one of them was like, Americans don't know the metric system. But like, no duh, we don't use that here. So I went through the list and I pulled out 16 of the 40 that I think are applicable to being a good or bad American, period.
Tourist.
No.
Oh, okay.
Period.
Oh, period. All right. Well, let's start at the top.
So being at the top, ice in drinks.
Oh my gosh. Ice, there has to be ice in drinks.
I don't like ice in most of my drinks.
Ice, baby. You know what though? Tell me about your issues, okay? You know your perfect posture and your weird proportions and crap like that. So, what weird thing you have with ice?
So this happened in 2005. My first time traveling abroad, I went to Australia. In Australia, like most other places in the world, this is another topic on this list of 16. So keep in mind. So those of you at home, you got to get, if you get more than a 10 out of a 16, that's 62.5% because I'm good at math as well. If you get more than 10, you need to change your perspective in life because you're doing things wrong. In my playbook,
you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And in my playbook, my plays count. I'm like Bill Belichick of life.
Yeah, what'd you deflate?
So I deflate so many things. So in Australia, I went to get food. I got a soda, and I said no ice. They're like, we don't even have ice. The machines don't have ice. And the reason why I said no ice is because ice takes away the volume of soda you get. And you might be like, oh, you can just get a refill. No, you can't. Most other places in the world don't have free refills. And it's not like 25 cents to get a refill. You're buying the soda all over again.
So, I mean, do they serve it cold or room temperature?
It's cold. Machine, the carbonation machine, it's cold. It's cold. Like, it's not hot and you put ice in it. No, it's already quite cold. It's It's like the temperature if you have water in the fridge or you get water
Mhm.
from the fridge. That's the same temperature. It's cool. It's not.
Do they fill the cups up all the way, or
They
do they
do.
kind of?
They do.
Okay,
So if you do want ice, some higher end places will cater to Americans. They put less soda in it. They put less liquid in it. So the only time they put ice in drinks in many other places in the world is if it's an alcoholic beverage.
interesting.
So if you are a ice addict,
Connoisseur,
you are an American.
aficionado.
I don't know if you're a bad American, but if you're obsessed, because I've seen people like obsess over ice. Like they'll go to the better refrigerator at work to get ice. I've seen like, oh, you took all the ice. I need some ice for myself. Give me some of
Oh
your
yeah, I'm
ice.
that guy. I'm that guy. I gotta have ice. Yeah.
I'm in my playbook. You bad American, because
No, that has nothing to do
you
with being an American.
you bad American because you coddled and you baby.
Basically, you're telling me that we are freaking privileged with ice raining everywhere, and we have ice in our drinks, and in other countries, other places, you have to go to an even more uppity place. America. No, I have ice in everything. Screw you,
No,
Dan.
I like ice in my iced tea because
Well, that's
it
because it
says
has ice in the
ice.
name of it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I
in
was
it.
saying. It has ice in it.
But I don't like ice in other things for the most part.
Do you like ice in your baby?
My baby, what is
Ice,
this?
ice, baby.
Oh boy,
Oh my
that
gosh.
is a fabulous dad joke. Just in case you didn't know.
Well, I'm a dad, so get off it.
All right, number
I'm
two.
entitled. It's entitlement. All right, number two. I don't agree
No,
with number one, but go number two.
okay, number two. Wearing shorts.
Okay, context.
If you're out and about, like out in the town doing things like going out at night, I would say, like, you're going to be out in public, going to a nice restaurant, wearing shorts. No bueno. You cannot do those kind of things.
Even if it's humid outside?
Don't care. You're out in public, it's night, you're going to a formal place, you're wearing shorts, no dice.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, that's more of like I think that's more of a common sense thing, though, right? Because like you go to a steakhouse, right? You don't just wear shorts for steakhouse. I mean, you dress up a little bit. You're spending like $30, $40 a plate.
That's what you think. That's what I think. But I see plenty of people who have no fashion sense because a lot of this list is regarding fashion because Americans dress for more comfort than
Okay.
fashion.
Do Americans know though, like when they go to these places, that they're a nicer place, or do they just go to the place and they're like, "Oh crap, this is like one of those nicer places I'm over here," and that's weird because I didn't do my research on it. We just kind of showed up, saw the name.
Uh, as technology advances, it's more the latter because they do have Yelp. They have websites online, and
I don't ever check Yelp.
Yelp exists in other parts of the world.
Well, obviously, but I'm just saying, like sometimes you're driving by, I'm hungry. What do you want to eat? No, that place looks good. Let's go there.
Then check it out real quick. Go change. Go.
You know you're at the wrong place when like you show up at the door and like there's a guy there taking reservations, or seating the what is it called, the hostess. Yeah, the hostess is there and it's like, would you like a coat? They're like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Would you like a coat?
yeah. So uh, Americans are guilty of wearing shorts just too often.
Okay.
So number three is one of the most American things you can do, and that's wearing a baseball cap
Where?
anywhere. If you're not doing anything athletic, you shouldn't be wearing a baseball cap
No, that's an opinion.
because they don't wear baseball caps in other parts of the world.
They have baseball,
They do. Japan loves baseball.
and they have baseball caps there.
No one wears baseball caps there. I didn't see a single baseball cap when I was there for a week.
Well, you walked around with your eyes closed. Really, nobody wears baseball caps around?
It's a very American item to wear. I
Huh.
like baseball caps. I hate baseball,
Okay.
but I like wearing caps.
Do the Japanese people wear head th- things
No.
at all, or they okay? So that's just more of a cultural thing there.
Yeah, they wear pretty basic clothing, red, white, and blue for the most
And
part.
they wear nothing. They don't wear hats. They don't wear
For the most part,
only.
no. And if they do wear more outlandish stuff, or I wouldn't say outlandish, but more unique items, it's for Saturday nights.
Interesting. Okay, well then Japan doesn't count.
So, okay, the fourth item. This if you're okay with this, I'm going to fly to Oklahoma and I'm going to burn every one of these that you
You're
own.
you're gonna punch me in the aorta.
White socks.
No, I only have black socks. I can't stand white socks.
White socks. If you wear white socks out and about proudly, and you cross your leg and white sock shows on your ankle, and you don't have a problem with that, I need you to take a photo with your IP address and your GPS so I can find you. I'm
Wait, are you saying? Well, hold on. Are you saying white socks just in general in any kind of context?
as as long as you're not doing anything athletic. If you're just
Wait,
out,
so if you wear shorts and then you're wearing like white ankle socks, you'd have a problem with that.
yes,
Why?
white socks are the biggest eyesore in human history.
I mean, white socks, that's a majority of like a sock color.
Try harder.
What do you mean try harder?
Try harder at looking better with your appearance.
I personally don't like white socks. I like black socks or gray socks or like weird different kind of color socks. Like sometimes I wear like athletic socks, but they're still ankle socks, so they've got like multicolors and different things like that. And I wear shorts a lot, but I do wear nice jeans when I go out to nicer places.
And do you wear
But
white socks underneath those jeans?
I never wear white
Because
socks.
you're not a bad person.
I don't know. That just seems like a weird thing. That's such a weird. That's such a.
That is
You're
something if
cutting hairs on that one.
queer eye for the straight guy, if they open a drawer and they saw all white socks, they would throw all of them away.
So gay guys don't like white socks.
100%.
Okay. All right. Hey, if there's any gay listeners out there, we want you to chime in on this.
And so
Do you like white socks?
they'll say I'm right because
Okay.
I'm a fabulous human being, as I've stated prior. And
Okay. Okay.
all right, next.
So the white socks, that one can be up for debate.
No, undebatable. That was it. I will give a pass on the ice and the baseball caps, but white
And the
socks,
shorts.
no pass.
Okay. All right. No pass. You Gandalf, you shall not pass. Balrog of Moria is going down.
I'd rather you come up to me barefoot than wear white socks.
Okay. All right. All right. Barefoot's a thing lately.
I suppose. I guess being a bum is cool again.
Yeah, it is.
All right, number 5, having better teeth. Because Americans, our dental system is better than most countries where our health system is debatable. So, but our dental system is really good compared to most places in the world. So if you have better teeth, you are, in short, a better American.
Overseas or just in general?
In general.
Okay.
Okay, this next item, I can't stand doing this item.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
Walking while eating. I can't stand walking and eating at the same time.
Like, I mean, or like food on the go kind of thing.
Let's say you're out somewhere and you get like a hot dog and you're just walking and eating it.
Like casually, or you're walking like to work and you're like on like you have like a 30-minute lunch and you have to.
Any situation. I can't do it. Because in other places of the world, they're not as much of a rush as we are.
That's because they have better working hours.
There's that, but there's certain places in the world, like I think of Madrid. They have tapas. Like I'm not sure if you're familiar with a tapas. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like a little piece of bread, and they put meat on it and cheese, little things like that. And it's very small. You could eat it like in 2 or 3 bites.
Okay.
So they have like kind of countertop seating only. They give you a little plate. They give you 3 of those. And if you want another, they just give you another plate. So you can eat standing up real quick. In like 5 minutes, you're in and out. If you don't have 5 minutes to eat, and you have to walk while eating, you bad person. Do better with your time management.
So it's like food, not snack food.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just eating like a bag of Fritos, I don't know why I said Fritos. I don't really like Fritos. And you're just if you're walking around with a bag of Fritos, you look kind of weird anyways.
No, the Fritos, they have those, what is it, the
barbecue
chili.
Yeah.
No, the chili, what is it, the chili cheese ones.
Okay.
Oh, those are so good.
I want you to just you're driving around town tomorrow and you see someone walking
Okay.
with a bag of Fritos, you're gonna like, that's kind of weird. Don't you think that's
Yeah,
kind of
they're actually
weird?
Fritos. I don't think I've seen someone eat Fritos in the last like long
All
while.
right. Then the most popular chip out here, I think, is Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Love
So
those.
if you see someone just and plus you get like all this crumbles and stains on your hand eating most
Like
chips.
red hands everywhere. You just rub your eyes and you're like just cry because they're on fire.
And so that's kind of the reason why walking while eating is kind of gross because you're gonna need a napkin. You're probably gonna spill something on yourself.
Right.
So that's one. And then the follow item is going to McDonald's a lot.
Come on, that's just like you're just nitpicking people's
So
preferences.
McDonald's,
McDonald's is safe. Remember when we said that Denny's was like a safe bet? That's like a safe bet overseas. You know McDonald's is gonna have the same consistency everywhere you go. So you're like,
that
yeah, I
is
could deal with McDonald's.
100% not true because the McDonald's overseas are better than the ones here.
Well, then there you go. So if you've had it at the worst, it can only get better. So even still, it is a tried and true. If you can deal with
I
McDonald's,
I
you
am
can only
guilty.
be impressed.
I am guilty of going to McDonald's overseas because I actually like to try them out to
Uh huh.
compare them with here.
Well, the ones in China are like epic. I hear like I see some of these things. They got like all these crazy, uh, Chinese style menu items.
Yeah, every place like I went to Australia, they put beet on a sandwich.
I want to go to the one in Canada because they do like poutine on fries, and I've never had poutine.
It's nothing special, it's gravy.
Poutine, bro, poutine.
I've had it, it's nothing crazy. So
No, poutine on fries. I gotta have it. It's a thing.
I mean, so I like McDonald's overseas way more than here. Like if I go to
So are the
McDonald's
sizes
here,
are the sizes the same?
food wise, yes. Drink wise, no. The cups are smaller there.
But do they have refills?
No refills.
No, at McDonald's there's no refills.
They in certain countries they will charge you for each package of ketchup.
I am not loving it, Dan.
25 cents. Would you like ketchup? Yes.
Well, they started doing that with barbecue sauce a couple years back, and then they stopped.
Yeah, ketchup. 25 cents each.
Wow.
Adds up. Adds up quite
Yeah, it
quickly.
does. I bet you eat $1 worth of ketchup.
I do like my ketchup on my fries and burgers. So
That's a weird. It's a weirdism.
it is. The next one I think is very American,
Okay.
and that's drinking too much alcohol. So, like,
I think that's more immature than American.
I think the term chugging doesn't really exist in other parts of the world.
You see all these like Irish drinking movies where everyone's like drinking, drink, drink,
Yeah,
drink.
yeah, but they drink like
Uh,
all night. Like we drink like in 2 hours. Like we want to get like as smashed as humanly possible. Hey, how long, when you been here? I got here like 5 minutes ago. Why aren't you drunk yet? And you like get handed like 3 beers all of a sudden.
I kid you not. Okay, earlier today I saw on Facebook. Sometimes you start scrolling, but like there was this Hispanic kind of gangster looking guy, and he was taking 50 shots of Patron. So he's sitting there. There's like 50 shot glasses like lined up, and the bartender behind there starts pouring out the shots, and he starts one after the other, one after the other. He gets through all 50, and then they go 20 minutes later. He's getting pulled out by the ambulance.
Good. It's a stupid thing to do.
Can you do 50 shots of Patron?
No. I don't like doing shots, period.
I've never had Patron, and I'm not rich.
It's good. It's like the one tequila I like.
What is that like? $20 a shot or something like that?
No, no. It's I mean if you go you could buy a bottle of Patron for like 40 or $50.
Oh, I thought it was like $250
No,
for
I mean
Patron.
that's like there's different classes of it, and then that's like the
Oh,
black
okay.
label or something. I don't know, but you can buy the one with the green ribbon, I believe. You can buy that one for like $50. It's pretty good.
Interesting. Okay.
If you go to a restaurant, obviously it costs more. It's probably $12 a shot. So
Okay, so random. Now that we're on alcohol, just random side tangent. What would be your chaser, or what would you be your mix in for tequila?
I've had a love and hate relationship with tequila. I got really smashed on tequila when I was young, and I took a long
So that's
hiatus.
that's me and vodka.
So I'm not the biggest tequila drinker. The only time I really drink tequila is in a margarita.
Okay.
So I don't do shots, so I don't mix tequila. But you're supposed to mix it with like limes and things like that, something fruity.
Okay, okay.
And like
Hey, Hawaiian Punch.
could
Let's bring it back. Hawaiian Punch and
on
Patron
the rocks.
on the rocks.
I need any.
Dude, I brought back last week's episode with Hawaiian Punch.
Yeah, so anybody who is a tequila drinker, order a Patron and ask for a Hawaiian Punch on the rocks.
And if not, bring your own Hawaiian Punch.
And preferably like in a paper like cup, like you have to like kind of like the schoolyard milk jug things.
Or a juice box.
Yeah, yeah, or like a Capri Sun. If you don't have Capri, if you don't want punch, bring Capri Sun. Bring the straw, pop it, and then squeeze it into your cup.
Hey, do they still make Capri Suns?
Absolutely.
I haven't seen one in like 10 years.
They almost look identical, except it's way harder to use the straw now.
It's like a flat straw instead of like one with a sharp edge.
It's the like the little opening is a lot harder to use than before.
Maybe it's easier when you're a kid because there's like magic in there, you know?
Yeah,
It's just like it's
they're
supposed to
made
work
for
the
kids.
kid.
I don't know, but I've seen kids have trouble with it too. It looks different. Something's off.
When's the last time when's the last time you had a Lunchable?
I don't like Lunchables even as a kid, so it's been a while.
Dan, you're just not American, man. I'm
Lunchables
telling
were
you.
like kind of yucky.
Dude, I loved Lunchables, but like the pizza Lunchables, like those deluxe ones, were like they're not normal Lunchables, but they're a step up. God, I used to like always ask my parents to like bring me one of those for lunch or let me take one of
Yeah,
those for
see
lunch, and it
those
was like
those
epic.
cost more than the like Mama Celeste pizzas.
What are those?
Those are like the 99-cent store microwavable pizzas.
I never got those, and I don't think I've walked into a 99-cent store in like legit 15 years.
Yeah, you can find them at regular grocery stores too. Like Tony's Pizza is like $2.
I don't remember Tony's
So
Pizza.
frozen pizza is where I went to, so I didn't do Lunchable pizzas.
DiGiorno.
See, I like DiGiorno.
That's the only one I know. It's delicious.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. So, okay, the next item, I think it's very obvious, is Americans are not as fond of nudity.
Wait, what?
Like, we're not as open-minded with nudity.
Also, we don't like to walk around naked everywhere.
So we don't have like as many nude beaches. It's more taboo to go to a nude beach here.
Do we have more pervs than them?
Maybe we're just too perverted to go to nude beaches.
It's like guys just sit there and like watch people.
Plus, like
That's
the
all
only
they do.
people who go to nude beaches here are like old creepy dudes for the most part.
That's what I'm saying.
But I've never really been to a nude beach. I mean, I've done.
I wouldn't go. I don't want to walk around naked, and I wouldn't want anyone to see that. You know, so I'm doing everyone a favor by not going.
The closest I've been to is when I was traveling in Greece. There was like an island where there was an unwritten rule: you have to take your pants off, or you can't be. You have to be naked as you step out of the water.
What?
So you couldn't be wearing clothes. So we went to a boat. The boat gets close to the island, and they say that's naked. I forgot the term. It was like Naked Island Beach. It's like you can go there, but you cannot go with clothes on. So everyone like takes their clothes off while they're swimming to the island, and you can kind of use your clothes in your hand to cover up.
Okay.
But you cannot be wearing clothes.
That's stupid.
It was cool. It was interesting because I was with a big group of people that I was traveling with for a few weeks. So it kind of loosened the group up after that.
Yeah, I bet you saw a lot of naked people.
Yeah, it was on my birthday, so it was a good birthday present.
Hopefully, there was attractive people in your group.
There definitely was.
Okay, well,
yeah.
There you go.
So the next item is talking about feelings.
Americans do that too much or too less?
Too much.
Now, shut up. That next one, don't even expunge that.
Okay, this next one, I think is very true.
Okay.
We clap a lot.
That's what we do. You applaud something when there merits an applaud.
I think we just clap like for more than we're supposed to. Like we clap, like other places clap like 3 times, and we'll clap for like 3.5 minutes.
It's a standing ovation.
Like we do a lot. Yeah, all the time we clap a lot. Like it's kind of.
I didn't know. I don't know, but I guess I haven't traveled that
I think
much.
that one's very true because it's kind of.
What if you did a slow? What if you did a slow
I think
clap
the slow clap's a
and then
very
build it up?
American thing too.
Oh, I love the slow clap.
And then this next item, talking too loudly.
I could see that. I could see that.
So I think that one's definitely true. And the next item, I think
How many items are we at right now?
there's two left.
Okay.
So this is number 15. This one I think is very true. And I used to be guilty of this. I grew out of it.
Okay.
And that is having hand sanitizer on you all the time.
If I'm going to foreign places, I will have hand sanitizer with me, for sure.
So you think foreigners are more dirty than us?
No, I'm just thinking that I would probably touch things a lot more than I normally would. Like when I go to new places, or just you're shaking a lot of new people's hands, or you're just like you're going through certain like if you're going to a highly populated tourist area and there's handrails and there's things like that, a lot of maybe sick people have put their hands on that, and so germs can get passed around. Especially with where a place people where it's like people are condensing and there's just a lot of people.
Yeah, so I used to be like that. And then I gave up because it's too hard. It's too much effort. You look like a weirdo.
I hate the people that don't wash their hands before eating.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I went from being kind of like OCD with the cleanliness to kind of going the opposite where I just don't care enough.
You're like, please just wipe your butt and don't wash your hands and share food with me.
I mean, I'm lucky to take a shower once a day.
Once a day? You mean like once a month?
Once a something, you know. When's
I think the longest I've went not taking a shower is like 3 days.
how often does a moon come around? The full moon? Is it like once a day or once a month?
It's once a month.
Yeah, that's how often I shower. I look at the moon and I'm
Yeah.
like, nope,
That's so
not time
gross.
enough yet.
So gross.
But yeah, it's just I've been too many places and it's been too difficult, and it's just kind of like the food will get cold by the time you get to the restroom
Yeah.
and back. It's not like it's here. It's you gotta go with the flow and when you're traveling.
You know what though? I remember when I was in India, there was a lot of gross looking people, and like you had to be like you had to be polite because that was like what's socially correct, and people were like really up in your space, and so like people would shake your hands that you didn't want, or they'd look weird, they'd look sweaty, or they just kind of look like someone you wouldn't want to like talk to, that you're talking to them, and they like touch your hand or give you a hug or something like that, and you're like, ugh, and so like sometimes having that hand sanitizer helps.
I mean, you gotta sanitize your face then, because they always give you kisses on the cheeks in most other parts of the world.
And they lick you on the
Do
cheek.
they?
No.
You got some.
I don't know what culture that was, but I am not visiting unless there's like just hot people everywhere.
It's called the Amazon, where Wonder Woman's from.
Oh, hey, if it's Gal Gadot, Liz, I hope you're not listening to this, but yes, I'll take one on the cheek.
I'll take one a little bit lower, and
Your jawline,
yeah, below the belt. I'm obviously talking about my big toes. So
your toast.
yeah, I'm a
All right.
nasty man who doesn't shower that has a toe fetish. So
So was that
we
16?
got one more. This one is a finale. It's not a good finale though. It's messy hotel rooms.
Yeah, I would see Americans are guilty of that. They just party it up
It's
and
like I'm
leave.
proud to be an American, where I undo
And
all the stuff.
all the sheets and I mess up all the crap because I paid a lot for this.
Dude,
So I proudly mess up next to you.
when I go to a hotel room, I make sure I use all the shampoo.
Oh, I bring my own.
No, I'll use like all the samples. Oh, there's a little bit left, and I'll like lather it up more than I usually do, just to be wasteful. So that's my right as
They
an
probably
American.
pay like 10 cents for that shampoo bottle.
Dude, I keep all of those. I keep like the little lotions, a conditioner. I bring all that stuff with me.
It's always like Dove, Suave, or Pantene Pro V stuff.
I don't care. I keep it home with me. That way, when I'm traveling, locally, I have that with me. So I have a little pouch of trinkets,
Interesting.
like a woman.
All right, Dan. So those were your 16.
So if
I want to get into one
go ahead,
tangent before we get because we're almost at the hour mark here.
we are.
Um, and here's the thing: we're headed into the Halloween season, and I don't want to full blown get on Halloween because we're working on a Halloween special for you guys. Okay, Halloween special, but there was something that I saw that made me very disturbed. Okay, and they were pineapple lanterns. It called me a purist, Dan, but it just you carve a pumpkin, and that's what you do. It's like eating chicken for Thanksgiving when you're supposed to be carving a turkey. You're carving a chicken. Yeah, it's technically a substitute, but it's just not right. Okay, and I just pineapple or a melon or whatever. You don't make those jack o' lantern. You don't stick a light in them and put them out on your front porch and wear it with pride. It's just wrong.
I mean, pineapples are oddly shaped too. So you got some like oblong looking faces.
I would say that pumpkins are various too. I mean, you're just
Dude, there's some
not
pumpkins
all
look
of them
like they have warts. Those pumpkins are disgusting looking.
those are like pumpkin ghouls.
Yeah, I've seen them at the grocery store and they're like 2 for $5. Like, who is spending any money on those bizarro pumpkins? But yeah, it's kind of weird to use a pineapple unless you're Hawaiian. That's the only state that's
I,
allowed to do it.
it's like people just take something that's traditional, it's always been done the same way, and they try to reinvent the wheel, try to make it cool, but it's stupid. I mean, and I would feel worse wasting a pineapple than a pumpkin.
Yeah, because
But I love pumpkin. I love pumpkin though, and I will eat pumpkin rolls, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin pie. Oh, hey, did you know that the pumpkin pie can fillings is not really pumpkin?
I did not know
It's
that.
like yeah, it's not pumpkin.
What is?
And so I don't know what it is, but it's not pumpkin. Someone told me that the other day, and it kind of like rocked my world. I'm like, what? But that's a +1 to this thing. That's a little extra caveat. But like, I don't know, man. Like, it's to me, it's weird, and I'd rather eat the pineapple versus just screwing it up.
Is pumpkin a fruit or vegetable?
I think it's both.
No way, it's
It's
both.
it's both.
It's no way. It's a squash. So it's a
Tomatoes a
vegetable.
vegetable and
Oh, are we ready to learn something else?
yeah,
Where are
right.
pumpkins
Dropping knowledge on
from?
me. Like the origination,
Yeah.
the origin is what I should have
Uh
said.
huh.
Um, pumpkin. I'm gonna I'm gonna say it's pumpkin. It's gotta be like Icelandic or no. It's gotta be like white people from back in the day wearing Viking helmets.
You are wrong. It says Mexico.
No way!
Yeah.
Really? Really? Pumpkins came from Mexico?
Yep. The oldest
No.
pumpkins, fragmented between 7,000 and 5,500 years ago, are found in Mexico.
What?
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem with that, but that just. I mean, like, I don't think I've eaten anything that was Mexican. Like I don't think I've eaten any Mexican dessert or food that's had pumpkin in it ever. And I've lived in California. You know,
I want,
it's
if
always
you're
pumpkin
like,
pie, pumpkin rolls. It's like the white people are all like, let's experiment with pumpkins.
dude, I'm
You
gonna
know,
start saying from now on my favorite Mexican food are pumpkins.
no. I literally have not had anything that is Mexican food that's been pumpkins. I gotta have it now, especially if they are the OG pumpkiners.
Yeah,
You know,
they are the
pumpkin
originators.
connoisseurs. What? That just
It makes
hold
sense.
on. I gotta
It
Google
makes
this.
sense because like
Like
tomatoes aren't from Italy, so but everyone thinks tomatoes Italy.
Mexican pumpkin
And
recipes.
then same thing with
Let's
like
see what pops up here.
potatoes in Ireland. Potatoes are not from Ireland, so it makes sense.
Pumpkin empanadas, smoky braised Mexican pumpkin, calbasa and tacha. Yeah, I probably
You said that
butchered
perfectly.
that.
Are you sure you're
Hold
not
on.
Hispanic, Philip?
Si,
Felipe?
senor.
Felipe?
Si, Felipe. Mexican pumpkin soup. Like now there are all these like stuff that would just be Mexican food except it's just pumpkin before it. Like
Mexican rice.
what? Just like traditional Mexican pumpkin red enchiladas and like Mexican squash pot and there's pumpkin in there.
Well, there's different countries who do similar things but different ways. So it could be like Peruvian rice, whatever you just said. Slightly different
Gosh.
spices. I think that's what
Now,
they're.
Dan, you've just kind of changed my world right
I just
now.
taught.
I need to find the most delicious pumpkin dessert that's
Yeah,
Mexican.
I need you to go below the border, ask the cartel for help to find the best pumpkins.
I got a fever. The only prescription's more pumpkin.
Hey, and por favor, I need the good stuff. Oh, I got the good stuff.
Poor flavor.
I need the orange stuff. What?
All right, I'm gonna call it the good with Mexican pumpkin empanadas. I think I would try that.
I'm gonna go to all.
Empanadas are
I'm gonna
delicious.
ask all my Mexican friends tomorrow where they get their pumpkins from,
They're like, bro, I'm not Mexican. I'm like Spanish.
and I'm gonna say you need to tell me because you founded it. You made this. It's yours.
Wait, so if hold on, if pumpkins are made in like if pumpkins came from Mexico, then it's the Indians that were the first pumpkin originators because Mexicans are just the Indians that were colonized by Spanish people.
Yeah, a history lesson for those of you who did not know.
So if they grew there on that soil, then there were the Indians, unless the Spanish people brought pumpkin seeds over.
No, this is from like 5,000 years ago. So we're talking about a
So
few
it's
hundred years of history right there.
like we're talking about Aztecs,
Yeah, Aztecs. Yeah, that's a
Az-
yeah.
Aztecian pumpkins.
That they did sacrifices, and everyone thinks they sacrifice humans, but they sacrifice pumpkins. That's what we're learned right now.
And that's why they carve people's faces on
That they
them.
practice on pumpkins.
Okay, dude, it makes sense now. It makes sense.
We just taught all our listeners something so incredibly knowledgeable that they can bring to work tomorrow. That they're gonna be like, did you know that the Aztecs used pumpkins before they sacrificed people?
All right, so you guys have had to endure a very painful episode today, okay? And you've learned things. We've also made you feel weird on the inside talking about Joker and all that stuff. But if you still have stuck with us this far, make sure to give us 5 stars on the podcast stuff. You know what I'm saying, guys? Leave a little note there with it, like I love Dan and Phil, and then like and subscribe on YouTube, share. Hit us up on social media. We didn't do the normal blast on telling you guys what to do. Now I'm telling you guys what to do. But I hope you guys have had a great week and hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And again, if you have any ideas, let us know because we want your ideas. And believe it or not, guys, it's kind of hard to find ideas that are trending that are not political. Okay. And so Dan and I were just talking about this before. It's like looking for topics and what would be funny and what we talk about. Everything's like freaking politics, and we don't like politics, so we don't want to talk about that here, you know? And so let us know what you want us to talk about. What's funny? What do we need to roast? Who do we need to roast, you know? But yes, so I just did my spiel. Go eat at Denny's and get a mech sandwich at Subway. Dan, what do you got here?
So when you eat your pumpkin pie, I need you to think of Mexico.
Eat your pumpkin pie at Denny's or Marie Callender's.
And then say, this is good Mexican authentic cuisine.
Yeah. It's like sit there, eat your pumpkin roll with your pumpkin spice lattes and be like, man, this Mexican pumpkin spice latte is so good.
It's so Mexican.
Yes. It's, oh, dude. Imagine like pumpkin pie filling in a deep fried churro.
That sounds disgusting.
No. I just had a moment, dude.
Like
I haven't had a churro. I haven't had a churro.
Man, I don't need it filled with junk. You're just ruining it.
Dan, I haven't had a churro in like 10 years.
Churros are maybe my favorite dessert.
Dude, they're so delicious. Oh my gosh.
I love the cinnamon.
I got to get a churro.
But if you don't like churros, I don't want you listening to our podcast anymore. And if you don't know
if you're Mexican,
what a churro is.
If you're Mexican, Well, if you're a Mexican and you don't like churros, you're a bad
Yeah, you
Mexican.
should go back home.
Oh God.
We don't have any Mexican listeners according to the stats, so we need you to go back home
Well, no,
and try
I
better.
think I think one of the analytics said that we had a half Mexican listening.
Oh, that's true. We have deep analytics where we know the genealogy of our listeners.
We got one half Mexican, you know?
And we have a quarter Ecuadorian and a Congan listener as well.
The analytics these days, man, they just know everything. Ancestry.com, they give us
It's
everything. You just
crazy
type in the
because,
last
like, when you
names.
type on your keyboard or on your phone, Facebook can read your fingerprints and it just tells us where your fingerprints are from. It's crazy.
Guys, even your IP address has an accent.
It does. Like, it has a little squiggly line over the last number. So,
All right, guys. So this has gone on far enough. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Dan, you want to say anything before we end this?
nope.
All right, we'll see you guys if you guys make it over and love us enough to pop up and download episode 11. But guys, episode 10 is in the books. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
Toodles.